What is the most cringeworthy thing you did to woo your crush? In the 8th grade I printed out Green Day lyrics and wrote I love you on the end, then taped them all over her desk and chair. Somehow, it didn't work out. Gotta use Coldplay lyrics, man. Pick flowers at night, put them in front of her door, not even a note, or a name, or anything, just the flowers. Even denied when she asked if they were mine. Don't know what I was trying to accomplish there. Killing flowers in her name, dropping off their remains by her door anonymously. I think the message was clear. You're next. I had a phone that barely had a Facebook app. I thought I was searching her name to creep on her. I actually posted her name as my status. Holy crap, this is like my worst nightmare. When I was 14 I made a fake website for a fake movie to prove to a girl I was starring in a movie. Lorenzo von Matterhorn. I was really into dragons growing up, like really into them. I had a book called Dragonology, which I had with me all the time. In the book there was a language key for dragon runes. Well, me being my sly mysterious self, I wrote her a love note in these runes with a little key on it so she could figure it out. Didn't say it was from me. I slipped it into her locker and she confronted me the next day. I was amazed that she knew the note, the one written in dragon language, was by me, the kid that was obsessed with dragons. Thinking back, I must have come off like a greasy-haired Zodiac. When I was little, I saw Ice Age and there is a scene where Diego wakes up and yawns, and since he's a saber-tooth, you see his huge awesome chompers. So, my dumbass would sit in my chair, facing my crush and yawn with a giant open mouth, baring my teeth, hoping to woo in my fair lady, but alas, no luck. Flawless logic, surprised it didn't work. I worked in the office at a construction company part-time at 17. I'm a flirt anyway, but there was one young guy I actually had a crush on, so I always thought he was flirting with me. For his birthday I found a doll-sized truck that looked exactly like his and baked him a cake shaped like a garage with the truck inside. Yes, it was difficult and time consuming. Wow, this is amazing. My wife is gonna love it too and probably want to know how you did this. Pro tip. Guys in hands-on vocations often don't wear wedding rings for fear they will have to be cut off in an accident. I knew which way she walked home from school, so one sick day I wrote I love Heidi in giant chalk letters on the sidewalk where I knew she'd pass. I hid in the bushes and when she walked by I yelled Luok Duan. She promptly decided to speed walk the rest of the way home. I never told her it was me. She was already in the process of giving me the thanks but no thanks. And in a bit of desperation I tried serenading her with some sweet no doubt over the phone. 18 years later and we are happily married. To other people. So much crappy teenage poetry that I thought was deep. Found a couple of them a few months ago and had to resist the urge to cringe my way into traffic. Crappy poetry was my thing. I am so glad my teenage angst poetry got lost along the road of life. I have nightmares that while receiving an award for my writing someone will stand up and start reading the lost Cringefest poetry. I wanted to be her partner when we got in pairs in Spanish class. I was mentally preparing how I was going to ask, but when the teacher said to find a partner I just yelled her first name really loud. People stared at me and she was embarrassed. I think it is one of those times where I look back and still cringe. I drew a picture for a girl in middle school to ask her out. It was of us holding hands in front of a sunset. She showed her friends and laughed at it with them. Bruh. I tried to sing her a song while playing it on the piano. I can't sing. I can't play piano. I just knew the basic tune and knew that the higher notes were to the left on the keyboard. I didn't even know the words to the song. Looking back, it was pretty obvious she didn't even want me to sing to her. She was being polite. Oh god OP, why did you make me relive this memory? The higher notes are on the right, unless there's such a thing as left-handed pianos. I bought red roses, got up early, went to her place and placed one rose on her doorstep, one on her windshield, one on her desk at work and one in her coffee cup. She was a little creeped out. This sounds like the beginning of a horror film. 3rd grade sent a letter to his house, like a dork. Meet me in the schoolyard Saturday. That spelling error has haunted me for years. He brought it to school and asked if it was from me. I did not sign my name or anything. Deny till you die. Meet me in the schoolyard Saturday. That spelling error has haunted me for years. This is probably the funniest thing I'll read today. In middle school, I had my mom spend $40 to $50 on a heart-shaped locket with her name engraved on it. I still cringe to this day thinking about it. In elementary school, there was a necklace pair that was each half a heart that fit together at the kids bookstore thing. I bought it and put one half on her chair thinking she'd find me with the other half and we'd fall in love. I'm dying just thinking of it 20 years later. For the purposes of this post, my name is Mark. I saw a coin on the ground while talking to a girl and decided to show off how cool I was in a humorous way. I don't know why everyone thinks I'm so cool at everything I do. Hey look, a penny. I picked up the coin and then started celebrating. Go Mark. Go Mark. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. The humor being that I was oblivious to being cool at even the little things, like picking up coins. Frick, I was horrible. It hurts me to even read this. In class I would never say or do anything. I would just occasionally look at her. Then I would go home and cry myself to sleep over the fact that I'm going to die alone. Ah yes, this is more my speed. I tried to impress my crush by showing her my stiff wiener while my mom was watching. Can't remember it though, but my mom likes to bring it up every now and then. What the frick? Join a club at school, then spend a bunch of money I didn't really have to spend on going on a club related trip. I hoped it'd be my shot to get some alone time with her and make my move, but she ended up pulling out of the trip and I didn't know until we were about to leave. I was okay in this topic until this. The amount of times I have attempted an elaborate way to be alone with my fancy only to realize that either A, it was stupid, B, it was blatantly obvious what I was trying to do, or C, it would fall apart at the last minute. I still do this as well. I'm 27. The teachers at my old school really enforced the no running in the hallway rule we had, and one day, she was running to get to her class or friends or something. I'm not sure. I stopped her, being the teacher's pet I was, and told her she was getting a ticket for running. I said the payment was a number. The piece of paper I had given to her was thrown in my face and she ran off. In 5th grade I was nothing but cringe. He came to my birthday party so I was in love with him. This wasn't just a crush, I'd had those before. I wanted him in a way I had never wanted a boy before. Of course, being 11, I had no idea how to handle these new and confusing feelings. I also didn't bathe much because I'm slightly allergic to soap and nobody believed me. So, I sat way too close to him, flowed him around, and wrote his name surrounded by a heart on everything I owned so he could see. I also made several threats towards his girlfriend. If I could, I'd reach back into the past and give young me a good slap. This wasn't for wooing, but I just thought I was being super subtle and discreet when I asked her if I were to hypothetically ask you if you wanted to date me, what would you say? She replied no, and my heartbroken stupid teenage self somehow managed to answer with ha. Thought as much. Good thing I never asked you then. I cringe internally every time I remember that. That's not too bad tbh. In middle school, I had this serious crush on a girl who was really beautiful and pretty good at academics like me. Every day in math class, I used to finish the problem before her, yet wait for about 10 minutes so that we could both say the answer at the same time. She'd look back and smile at me, and that was enough motivation to continue this tactic for about the next 6 months. I still cringe at this memory. Wait, this is actually so cute though. In HS, we were at callbacks for auditions for the school musical. Girl I was interested in was sitting in a chair backwards, think AC Slater style, while rehearsing her song. Genius idiot me decides that a great way to grab her attention is to football hike this 32 ounces shampoo bottle at her. So I grab it, yell to get her attention, and hike the bottle as hard as I can through my legs. The bottle hits the backside of her chair. Luckily it wasn't a few inches higher or it probably knocks out a few teeth. Nevertheless, the impact with the chair explodes the shampoo bottle and she is completely covered in Pantene Pro V shampoo. Just minutes away from her callback audition time. I guess it worked though. We've been together for 12 years now, married for 3. In 1st grade I gave him a love letter asking him to marry me. He said no in front of all of his friends. I was humiliated. I think anything before 3rd grade is forgivable. 1st graders don't know how to behave. I think this is more adorable with a slightly humiliating ending than cringy. We had a Valentine's Day thing in high school with crush cans. You know, the drink, you paid $1 to have a can sent to someone. Orange crush was for friendship, red crush was for love, and purple crush was for, well, a crush. I sent a red crush to my brother because I'm a rude little sister. That was great. Tee. But then I sent a purple one to a guy I liked, asking him to the Sadie Hawkins dance. I'm pretty sure he was pressured into saying yes, considering the can was delivered in class. Needless to say, he kept making excuses as to why he couldn't go. Hey, Fisiswata, I really like your bracelet. Thanks, I'll give it to you if you go out with me. Sure. Gives over bracelet. I wish it stopped there, but no. I went home that night all excited about my new budding romance. I had these 2 drawers where I kept all things I thought were cool, so I found this brown paper sack and I put in some cool stuff. A kaleidoscope, $1, those popper things you got from the video arcade stores, some other stuff. And the next day I come into school, see my crush sitting against the wall in the gym. I make eye contact with him and slide this paper sack right to him and keep on walking. I totally felt like I was working a pretty good game in that moment. But he broke up with me later that day. The perils of 2nd grade. I imagined this as an exchange between grown adults and it was beautiful. I really liked this guy when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I don't remember what I did to him, but he knew I liked him a lot. One day, he asked me to meet him at the playground. I got really excited and thought he would tell me he loved me back, lol. Anyways, I get there and he had made a huge heart in the dirt and proceeded to stand there with his girlfriend. I showed up to him kissing her non-stop in the heart. I was so sad after that. I have a few excellent ones, all concerning the same person. We'll call him Brandon. Brandon was the hollister type and lived 3 houses up and across from me. I was in Louvre. Brandon surfed, so I made my dad buy me a surfboard. I waxed it daily on my front porch. Never surfed. Still have not. This went on a year. Holy frick. Brandon also played soccer. So, since I had come from a private school in 4th grade, I tried to play like I had played on the soccer team. I hadn't. I made a team shirt with that freaking iron-on crap you print out on, complete with really crappy margins. Oh my god. My team, the arrows. Freaking kill me. Now I'm a well-adjusted mid-20s lady. I don't creepily copy my boyfriend, so I guess I learned. Brandon won't accept my friend request. I tried drunk about a year ago. Frick you, Brandon. You don't know how hard I worked for you. Girl, Brandon doesn't deserve you. A Chinese sweatshop could probably use you though. In middle school I brought her a popsicle but was too nervous to give it to her, so I put it in my locker. At the end of the day, after I worked up all my courage, I walk confidently over to my locker and find all of my schoolwork covered in purple goo. Oh god, I was a serial note giver. Throughout high school, whenever I liked a guy I would agonize for days over the perfect wording of my little hand-drawn card, give it to him in the hallway after class, and book it halfway across the school before he could register what had just happened. That's actually kind of adorable. Not me, but there was a guy in my fraternity who broke a long fluorescent bulb over his head thinking it would impress this girl he wanted to bang. 10/10 did not bang. Something tells me he wasn't the brightest guy in the room. I was class representative in high school, and one of our tasks was the class seating plan. So I chose a comfy spot, in a corner, and put him right next to me. That's not cringy, that's clever and kind of cute. I used to text girls to tell them I liked them and then make up that a friend that sent the message before they even had the chance to reply. Left a girl a Valentine's Day card and watched her open it and get so excited but sat quietly to let another boy reap the reward. Got dumped by a girl and spent the next 6 months calling her in tears. I was just so in love with her and she didn't care. One time she put me on speakerphone in front of all her friends and they took it in turns to laugh at me. I didn't deserve that, but it was the wake up call I needed to move on. Silver lining? High school. I was an outcast because I had awful social skills and was kind of nerdy and super weird. I kind of liked this guy and I thought it'd be a good idea to start a conversation about fricked up things I'd seen on B. I did this several times. Obviously, it didn't end well for me. If it makes you feel better, this would have probably worked on me. I found myself giving her rides to events and hangouts with mutual friends in high school. Made a mixed CD of songs that I thought would subtly imply my affection for them. She realized what I was doing within 10 minutes, thought it was hilarious, and judged me hardcore on my desperateness and poor taste in music. We got married in December. Sent her a Facebook message for the first time, only to talk about how I just got back from the gym. Mind you, this was freshman year of high school. Baking something would have been better. Oh, you mean when I proposed to my female best friend in junior high, ring and all? Because I proposed to my best friend in junior high, ring and all. In middle school I got a tiny cut on my upper lip that ended up being unseeable halfway through the day anyway, but I didn't know that. Tried being tough and told a girl I got it from a fight with my mom. Please don't ask. It's made even worse by the fact that I'm a girl and she was definitely straight. God, why? OMG. I know a guy that probably pulled this line. Holy cringe. 9 years ago, when I was in high school, the small group of girls I was friends with became enamored of Alexander Hamilton. Consequently, as a lonely young dorky kid, I must have assumed that to be attractive to women, I should become like Alexander Hamilton. Fast forward a year and I finally was going on a date with someone. There was an awkward silence. What do I do? What do I talk about? Economic policy, of course. So I rambled for a half hour about macroeconomics and then wandering over to game theory and explaining the relationship between the prisoner's dilemma and the tragedy of the commons. It turns out that she wasn't listening to any of that. She did enjoy the way my voice sounded even if she wasn't listening to me, so the date still went alright. TLDR. I asked her to marry me despite she being with another guy. Long version. We've known each other for 10 years. We dated for a long time as well. She asked me to marry her a few years ago, out of the blue. I was not prepared and laughed it off as a joke. It was not a joke, and I am a jackass. Anyhow, we grew apart because of said ass jackery. I wouldn't pay her enough attention. I wouldn't do the things she likes, like walking in the beach or dancing. When she left me, it literally broke my heart. Yes, literally. I'm pretty sure I heard the distinctive crackle of my heart shattering. She was with another guy now. The pain grew bigger. I'm an amputee. Losing an arm was a breeze next to this last few months. We still kept seeing each other as friends, but it was an absolute nightmare. I couldn't and still can't sleep or eat. I am sleeping at most 4 hours every other night. I was despaired to show her how much she still meant to me. She has a tattoo that represents me on her body. All her family is represented this way, so I'm an amputee animal with tribal markings. I didn't have a good source for the image, so I just redid the whole drawing on GIMP with the freaking trackpad. It took me like, I dunno, 10 hours. I borrowed my father's car. I have a license but I can only drive adapted cars due to the amputation. So if the cops caught me it'd be as if I had driven without license. And went shopping. I found a cute octagonal wooden box. I had it laser engraved with the drawing. Bought a ring. Put it inside. Invited her to lunch. And then invited her to the beach to take a walk. But she didn't go for it. She said she'd rather go home watch TV. Frick my life. I can improvise though. I grabbed a small sign rock she had gave me many years past. Placed it in my pocket. Started emptying the pockets. Drops rock. Oh, look what I have here. And show her the rock. Have you heard the new Rob Duggan album? It's all orchestral. It's awesome. I put it on. I invite her to dance. She is surprised. I don't dance. Ever. We start dancing. And I whisper she should marry me. I could show her I can change. Be more outgoing. I can make her happy. I'd even give her my small rock. She thinks it's the rambling of a heartbroken boy and just answers I gave you that rock. While I grab the little box with the ring in it from my pocket and present her with it. She cries a lot. I cry a lot. Wrong timing, she says. She dreamt this for so long and now I only do it when it's too late. I thought I still had a chance. She said she wanted to think it over. She was confused. She didn't take the ring. It's still pretty cringeworthy just thinking about the concept. Just crazy enough to either work or fail magnificently in a blaze of glory. At least I gave my all. Better late than never. My wife said she wrote a song which later turned out to be Shania Twain, Any Man of Mine. Foolishly, I composed a guitar piece to go with it and played it to her, forcing her to reveal her lie. So I was at a house party. Drugs were involved. There was a girl there who I liked and had been talking to quite a bit. She also had a couple of other guys chasing her. Luckily I had coke and got her to come upstairs for a line. In my coke-addled head I was planning on saying something funny romantic along the lines of me being infatuated with her like I'd caught some kind of illness. Honestly I don't know what I was thinking, but seemed like a freaking great idea at the time. So I get her upstairs and we look into each other's eyes and I splutter out I have a disease. At which point she went wide-eyed and all but ran out of the room. What the frick is your problem, dude? I had the stupidest, cheesiest, not so classy pickup line ever. Imo. I had some cutlery, a fork and spoon to be exact. I walked up to them, and while raising up the spoon, I said wanna hang out and spoon with me later, and then, while raising up the fork, I said or would you rather fork? I'm pretty embarrassed just thinking about it, but at the time both of us thought it was hilarious. Holds up spork. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.